Hey folks, Scott with Leading Edge Archery again. You know, probably the second biggest question I get asked about elk hunting with elk season around the corner is about what's the most important item besides the bow. We talked a little bit about packs on an earlier episode, but we're going to talk now about boots. I think the single most important part besides your bow that you're going to carry up the mountain. These are the things that are going to get you there, without a doubt. I got 4 different styles here. We're going to talk about each of them here in a second. And these are actually mine, so they're used. They're not brand new ones. And I tell you, my boots, I've been around the horn on this one when it comes to buying, an inexpensive discounted boot in my past, and then buying some of the most expensive ones out there on the market today. So we've had a chance to do them. I put a ton of miles on these boots. I think this boot here has got well over 250 miles on it from last year on average. This one from a year before, probably 150, 170. So we put a lot of miles on them, and that's just in one season, probably 2 to 3 weeks of hunting. And then, of course, I wear them around here in South Texas hunting. But, one of the things that I will tell you when it comes to a good boot is making sure you got really good ankle support. And I say that with one caveat to that is where you are hunting in relation to high and low. Last year, it seems like the last couple of years, elk have been really low out of their traditional spots. Typically, I love hunting above 10,000 feet. The elk in our area we've been hunting have recently been in that 7,000 to 9,000 feet, which is extremely low. So it's kind of changed some of the boots that I'm taking and I'm wearing on a year-to-year basis. So I will tell you, when I'm hunting above tree line, above 10,000 feet, I will tell you my boot of choice is definitely going to be the Kenetrex. This is the guide boot that they make. It is 100% full leather. As you notice, it's got a crazy high ankle support system in it, an amazing tread system, and of course this rubberized compound that goes around the entire boot protects those shale rocks that are notorious up when you're really high. If you're wearing a typical nylon type boot or a Gore-Tex boot like this Crispy here, without that protective edge, you will cut them. It's not a matter of if, it's when, and you're going to cut them big. That takes away all the waterproofing right away. So I love this guide boot from when I'm above 10,000 feet. If you're a sheep hunter, this boot is probably the boot of choice. Zamberlan makes a great one also. There are some great boots. Mendel, I just can't think of all of them right now. But I love this Kenetrex. What I call a lifetime boot. You'll buy it once, and I think Kenetrex even will resole the boots for you if you wear through these treads. Just an amazing boot when we're above 10,000 feet. Your temperate climate up there is going to be, lows in the 20s at night, 30s, and probably get up in the 50s, maybe the 60s during the daytime. So sweat doesn't become that crazy big of an issue. This boot, you will sweat in it. Merino wool socks are, of course, the thing to have. They dry out really quick. I love the synthetic wool, actually, because it does dry out much faster. But this boot will be amazing, once again, when you're above that 10,000 feet. When I start to come down a little bit, I love to get into the smaller, more hiking style boots. Last 2 years, with our elk being a lot lower than typically they have been in the past, I've been wearing these Crispies. Year before, I did the A Solos. The A Solo is a little bit more technical boot, as you can see. It's got a much stiffer profile in the foot base and also in the shanks that run up and down it. It does take some break-in time. I wore this boot for about 90 days before I actually took it out in the mountains, and my feet felt it. But the boot, as far as durability, is second to none. You can't hurt it. It's an amazing boot, really technical. Once again, you can get into some really rough terrain, and this boot performs really well. For a boot that you can wear daily wear, and I mean hunting it extremely hard, wear it to work every day. Heck, I wore these in the office here in the shop. Is the Crispies. They are probably the most comfortable boot I've ever put on my foot. They, out of the box, like a gym shoe. This boot actually had 0 miles on it. I actually took the box and everything up to Montana last year and took them out of the box, wore them for 2 weeks, put a ton of miles on them, and never got one hot spot on my foot at all, and did a lot of work in them. They're waterproof. They are a breathable nylon material on the outside. It's Gore-Tex actually, and the breathing is a good part of it. We've been hunting the last 2 years now. It seems like it's 90 degrees. I spent more time in short pants and short sleeve shirts with a boot like this because the breathability. They dry out extremely fast once you get them off your feet, and it's the key to make sure that your feet are nice and fresh throughout the entire week of hunting. Great boot. And then again, if you go into the whitetail type hunting, this is an 800 gram Thinsulate boot, Gore-Tex boot made by Danner. This boot, believe it or not, is about 17 years old. I've had it forever. This is when I'm going to go on those sits in the stand, and it's going to be below 20 degrees, and I'm going to sit there for 8 to 10 hours. You're going to have to get a lot of Thinsulate. 800 to 1,200 grams is the norm. You need to buy your boot about at least 1.5 size bigger than normal, so you can put those big, heavy wool socks in there to keep your feet warm and dry on those long, cold sits. So this is a boot I would typically wear in a sitting situation, non-spot and stalk. You'll probably never find me in the mountain west of Colorado or Montana hunting with this boot on. And I really don't care if it's only 11. I think last year, 11 degrees with the crispy, and we had 8 inches of snow on the ground, and this boot performed flawlessly. If you're moving, you're going to stay warm. If you're not, you're going to have to go with the heavy Thinsulate boot. So anyways, check online, check with your local dealers. Some of the brands to look at, once again, are Crispy, Kenetrek, Zamberlin, Mendel, the A Solos, even Solomon. There's some really good boots out there. So do your research, look into them, make sure what your break-in time period is going to look like. Use some of the resources that are out there on the social media, and get as much as you can. But the 4 I showed you, you can't go wrong. So have fun and good luck out there this year.